What's up, guys? You're watching Space Ron. In today's video, we're going to talk about what I believe to be an awesome idea for passive income. It's a little bit more of a project, a little bit more investment, but that shouldn't stop anybody, okay? Even if you don't have money, if you build a foolproof business plan, you will find investors. There's people out there with money that would just like to use their money to make more money. So what I'm talking about is a micro-generation solar farm, okay? Set it and forget it. Passive income. Now, the challenge that I see, because there's been many failed projects when it comes to solar power, but the problem that I see and the challenge you have to face is doing it cost efficiently. So that means cheap land, fair price product, because we still want quality product. We need to produce energy to be able to sell to the grid to make money. So we don't want to be buying any garbage, but we don't want to overpay for product either. The other thing is, do as much work as you can yourself, okay? Save on labor costs, save on materials, save on things like that, because that is where your cost is gonna go up, and at the end of the day, you're only gonna produce so much energy, so you need to keep your costs down to pay back your initial investment sooner, because these do have a lifespan anywhere from 15 to 25 years if you're lucky. So you wanna make as much profit as you can in that little window. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, does it make sense as to where I live or where I could do this project? So I live in Alberta, Canada. I'm lucky enough that we are ranked number 2 in the whole country as to the best places to have solar panel. We get a lot of sun. So me personally, check that off, that this is a good place to build a solar farm. Next thing is, where exactly close to you are you going to do this project? So here's the village of Empress. I don't live in Empress. It's a bit of a drive for me, but that is worth it because of the cost I can get land for there, okay? If I were to build in the city I live in, it would be at least 6 figures just to get the land, okay? Now, again, we're really trying to keep our costs low here. So commercial lots for sale in Empress. Here's an example. 1.49 acres, so there's room for expansion as well. You could max out your whole 150 kilowatts. Now I'm pretty much pricing out just a 50 kilowatt system just to dip my feet in the water and see how things go. If it's producing crazy energy and it's making enough money, it makes sense, then you can expand it after that. But 6,500 Canadian dollars. That's it. And now I got a couple different quotes to compare for a 50 kilowatt system. So here is 22,000 US dollars, so give or take whatever, $30,000 Canadian will. So now we're only sitting at $36,000 for our entire system, plus the land that's gonna sit on. So pretty fair pricing if you ask me. The only thing to add in now is, of course, whoever the power supplier is gonna have to come in and add a meter. That could be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 maybe. And of course, all the labor, you're going to need an electrician to actually do the wiring. I mean, you can set up the racking and stuff like that, but it also depends on permitting and what's required for your building permits. So this is for the company SunPal, okay? It's not as a reputable brand, but I've spoken to them lots. I've researched into their warehouse, and I don't see it being that much less efficient than other models, but it is a cheaper option. So then I had a consultation with a provider who sells the LG solar panels, which is apparently the leader in solar power. So just kind of 2 extremes to see the price comparison. So for a 50 kilowatt system, same thing, including all the racking, cabling, everything like that. So now we're looking at $76,000. So 1.5 times the cost of the SunPal system. Now, do you really think this panel compared to this panel is going to put out 1.5 times the amount of energy? I personally don't. You might have a little bit more knowledge into it or have done more research, and you might just want to go with a quality product that's proven to work. But if this was me, again, it's just something, because solar power there's absolutely no way of saying exactly how much money you're going to make. So personally, I would just keep my costs down, again, dip my feet in the water. If it ends up making enough money, maybe I could expand my program with the more expensive product, okay, with the LG panels. But this is something you're gonna do. You're gonna do it the way you wanna do it. I'm just laying out options and laying out ideas is all I'm here for. So this one quote is actually part of my entire business plan that I built, okay? That's what I do on my spare time. I will build a complete business plan. Whether I do it or not, I don't really care. I learned so much throughout the process, and I mean, knowledge is power, and I learned so much throughout every journey I go on. So, and either way, now I have the business plan, so I do want to, if I do actually want to seek investment and go out and build this, it's ready to go. I can do that, right? You want to tell them what your company's about, what the project is about, okay, the opportunity, project overview, market analysis. I mean, this is a unique one because you don't really have to lay out who your customers are, okay, how you're going to market your product, because it's guaranteed sales. All you're really doing is plugging in wires to sell electricity to the grid for a paycheck. Of course, there's still a fair amount of detail that has to get put into it, where the lands are going to be, where you're going to build the project. You want to highlight any solar incentives and rebates, which are pretty common wherever you live. I'm not saying there for sure is, but I'm just saying that they're fairly common. For Alberta, for example, here's one that I pulled up. So 75 cents per watt, capped at the lesser of $1 million or 35% of eligible system costs for commercial systems. So there's rebates, there's incentives, there's all sorts of different programs going on. We'll get into that in a couple minutes here. But then all of your startup costs, I always way over project, okay? Because if I'm looking for investment, I'm looking for money, I don't want to have to ask for more money. If anything, I want to be able to give money back just to pay off what I owe sooner, if it's just in the form of a loan or if you sell shares. Either way works, but again, I want to overshoot it so I know I have enough for my project. So my total costs for my system is $71,300, okay? Now, I've thrown in some rough calculations, and my prediction at least is that a 50 kilowatt system should make $20,000, anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 a year. We're looking anywhere from best case scenario 3 years, worst case scenario 5 years, which is still not bad for a complete return on investment. And then you got 10 to 15 years of straight passive income of that $15,000 to $20,000 a year. So again, it's just you build the project, set it, forget it. I love things like that. I can go on about my life. It's just extra income. And once it's paid off, that's an extra bonus check a year, which you could then use for other investments. Now, you'll notice that I didn't include in my pricing as well anything about the rebates, okay? Just leave that alone because you don't know for sure if you will qualify for them, if you'll actually get anything back. I mean, there's a good chance you will, but all that's going to do is just pay off your investment faster and just be a huge bonus, positive thing happening. But you don't want to have to rely on that. It's definitely always a good idea to seek a private investor as long as you approach a lawyer and get it all in writing about your partnership, about your agreement, so there's no gray areas. But same thing with any investor, okay? So there's private investors. You can always contact the government because, again, there usually is some type of incentive wherever you are. So in Alberta, for example, this is actually coming out in January 2021. They're releasing up to $55 million for smaller projects just like this. So pretty much the deal is they just finance it, okay? And this is the program that's going on right now. A year from now, there's going to be a completely different program going on, if any. So up to $250,000 is available per project to a maximum of $500,000 per company. Now, another option you can always do, believe it or not, is approach the banks. So they do have lots of solar financing programs with most banks because it's guaranteed income. Okay, they don't have to rely again on you going out, earning this money, finding customers, selling products, anything like that. They know that it's going to be sold to the grid and you're going to get a paycheck. So it's pretty guaranteed for them to loan you the money. They're going to make their interest off it and they're going to get their money back. So ATB Solar PV Financing Program, RBC Residential, so maybe not so much. Scotiabank Eco Energy Financing, TD Green Banking. So what I'm getting at is the money should be the last thing on your mind. Okay, build your business plan. Where are you going to build it? What product are you going to use? How cheap are you going to be able to make it? What's a rough idea of a return on investment? And then if you build a foolproof business plan, then go seek your investment. There's a ton of options out there. It should not be a problem. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to my business thoughts and ideas. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more business talk in the future. And only if you like the video, click the like button. But I'll catch you next time.